So here's what I alluded to earlier on today. The girls are back. Chris is back, and yeah, it's been very nice. The one of my main prerequisites for having her come back was that Ukraine pushed Russia back a bit from Kiev. They've done that, or Russia has retreated. Either way, and also just so happened that the wave of refugees that was flowing west lessened, and actually it's in Rajishib for some reason it's actually picked up here, at least in the church building. But anyway, I told her, Pris, it's your moment to shine. So she's going to share some things of the last couple of weeks.
So we're really thankful, actually, that God took us there. Cheryl, Ellie, and I went. Cheryl's a Canadian coworker and good friend for much of my life, really. We were able to take 3 of our moms there with 5 of their children, and God organized it so that they were able to get on a bus, taking them to Germany, so they didn't have to do the border crossing on their own. I mean, I don't think these girls had hardly traveled out of our town, let alone one of them had been into other countries on mission trips. Yeah, it's just tough. Anyway, so we were able to help them do that. It was tough for them leaving their husbands, and but God also took us to a place where they began taking in refugees. It's a Christian camp for handicapped people, and usually they work about 6 months of the year, not in the winter time, which is winter here, or was, and so they opened up, and on the first day there was one lady there, and they had like around 100, but they were taking in 120 to 150 people who would stop there. Some would just unload, eat a meal, use the restrooms, travel on. Others would spend a night. Some would spend 3 nights trying to figure out what to do. There's all those sheets to wash. And the second day, they had an 81-year-old grandmother join there to help in the kitchen. She was just amazing, such a sweetheart. Then they had a few other people, but because it's not in a major city, their workers for the summertime come from all over Ukraine to help. And so they hardly any workers. And so I think God just took us there for that time that we were there. I think we were there 14 days or something. And they were just helped. And by the time we left, they had some workers who had begun living there and were able to help. And so it was as if that great stress time eased. And then also we're able to go and visit my parents, which was really special to see them. We live about 6 hours drive away, and we're able to go there, or 25 minutes from where we were staying. And they have had this really strange situation with their house, which they've rented for about 19 or 20 years. The owner died, and a lady in Russia was made the next of kin. And just on the day when we went to visit them, they received a notice from that lady saying, you need to be out with all of your belongings out of my house by 5 o'clock tonight. Like, it was really random. And it felt like the timing was harsh, since Russia is at war with Ukraine, and here's this Russian lady kicking them out, like without any forewarning. Anyway, the next day I was able to go with my dad to the lawyer, and they drew up a somewhat legal contract, but I was just able to be there for that time. That just seemed like that was God's timing too. And then we went back to the camp and just helped more, just cleaning cabins, stripping beds of used sheets, setting out clean sheets, peeling lots of potatoes and carrots and grating them. They had one dishwasher, which they put cups and cutlery into. Everything else is washed by hands, all the bowls and plates and pots and pans. And it was just amazing. But of course, it was wonderful to come home and see Daniel and be with our church family. And we prayed about that ride, that we'd be able to find a driver. Most of the drivers are taking people away from Kiev, away from hot spots, to areas considered greater safety, although we were only 180 kilometers from Belarus, like we're at Russia, which is pretty close. It felt close. The one day that we were there, Monday a week ago, the military base really close to where we were staying was bombed. They had 50 new recruits, and 21 of them were killed. They had that funeral on the Wednesday that week. But God orchestrated the driver that we had to come back here 2 days ago, I guess. And he was a Christian, and he said, every time when I travel, I have each passenger share personal prayer requests and everybody in the car prays for them, and then we go around to each passenger, and that's what we did. And then we ended that time by just remembering who God is and just thanking him for who he is. And it was really special. As we were driving along, you see all of these block posts just everywhere on the roads, and you have to zigzag through them. People check your documents, and it's one of the things that makes me really sad still. Like, I mean, I say still because I think we'll get used to it, probably, or I will. Mostly I've been stationed in one place, not driving between different places. But you see all these big kind of metal stars that people have made up from unused railroad tracks or just metal pipes even that they had in their yard. People have welded them together, and just factories have done that. Everybody's done that, and there's all these big metal stars blocking off roads and villages and just side roads even in towns. They're just everywhere. It's just this sad thing. And then, we're driving along, and we couldn't drive on the main road because that road is under constant shelling right now. So we're on a side road, which has lots of potholes made bigger by all the traffic that's on them now. And there's a small bridge, and half the bridge is blown away. It's like there's this half moon on the road where it's just missing because it's blown away. So the traffic just slows down, and one car, like from one side, goes by, and then the traffic on the other side goes by. And anyway, we made it home, and we made it to Biela Tserkov, and then Daniel met us there and picked us up, and then yesterday and today we've just been at the church building, I have, and meeting people and helping to cook and just doing whatever, talking with them. And some of these people, like, they've been in root cellars all across Ukraine. They have root cellars to keep their potatoes and cabbages and stuff. And a lot of them, like ours, they're about 2 meters by 3 meters, or 2 yards by 3 yards roughly. Some are bigger, some are twice the size of that. Anyway, they've lived in there for like 2 weeks. And these one refugees, they just stayed one night. I didn't meet them, or 2 nights, but they were in their root cellar, and they decided to count the explosions they heard. They heard over 60 explosions in an hour. And they're afraid to come out. Like, I feel like, of course they're afraid to come out. Anyway, there's a mother, her mother, and her child, so a 13-year-old girl. They're in a town that she said, I don't know why they would shell this town. There's nothing in this town, like just nothing, and half the town is gone. That town's 110 kilometers from us, approximately, about 70 miles. And they're just shocked. And today there's a military practicing range not far from here, and even I was hearing all these explosions, and I felt like, what is going on? These are the closest explosions I've heard anywhere. And I phoned Daniel. He was in another town today, and he said probably it's our military practicing, and our sirens weren't going off or anything. Anyway, I talked with, there's another grandmother in our building, and she's crying, and she said, it just is so scary, like, what's happening? And I said, well, it's probably just military practicing. And she said, my grandkids, just 2 little grandkids, she said, they're running up and they're like, there's boom sounds, Grandma. There's boom sounds, and it's yeah, it's just sad. By the way, I know that many of you have prayed, and we're really thankful for that. And even the church building, it is really a place of refuge. It's a peaceful place. People feel that it's not just the building itself, but just, I think, just kind of the Spirit of the Lord. Like there's a peacefulness there that they feel. And also, thank you for giving so freely. Like we're able to feed them fine. And at first, even now, like just coming back, I was a little ashamed because I was just at this camp, and it's set up. Whereas ours, it's still pretty rough. Like the kitchen, you can see chopped up bricks, the floors cement. Like it just had, actually, it had building supplies stored in it a month ago at the beginning of this war. But at the same time, now we have 2 showers, a men's shower and a women's shower. There's a sink in the kitchen and a dishwasher and a wash machine. There's just so many different things. Bits and pieces have been put together. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, God bless you guys.